Dear diarrhea, diary full of shit. Just play along. Me, myself, and I, and no one else. Yo, I'm so legit. I went to bed at like 12:30 last night. Got up at 5:30. It's just sort of my circadian. I just heard that circadian rhythm. My circadian rhythm is going to be, well, would be, could be, maybe, baby, even should be 24/7. It's my, well, every night. And we'll occasionally take naps together, maybe. It might just work out that way, but yes, my circadian rhythm. That'd be funny, like if you were at the doctor for whatever reason. Doc, I'm having trouble sleeping. Energy levels low, whatever, blah, blah. Are you sleeping okay? Yeah. What's your circadian rhythm? With my wife? We both got rhythm. Sometimes she's doing the moving, sometimes I'm doing the pumping. Anyway. Um, I stumbled across this video the other day. How did it? Yeah. Yeah. I was doing some stuff, my save stuff, because I don't. Porn is generally crap, but I will use it to maybe snag some shots or quick video or whatever. Generally, I don't really use it, but sometimes, and like I said, I can modify shit, do my thing. But where a chick was actually, instead of grinding, you know, penetration, she was rocking back and forth and, actually straddling the dude facing him, doing the butt dog thing. No thong or panties or anything. Like I said, there's different methods. I've mentioned that before, on your feet, with the workout bench, because they're narrower on adjustment, lean back, it's just more of a. But that's kind of a, when it comes to sexual time, instead of just on the bed, it's like, it's a production. You either have to have a bench in your bedroom, and whatever. There's just on your knees, if the surface works out, if it's like a couch or a bed, you're going to sink down or whatnot, but there's less movement. This chick was just rocking back and forth. But she had a big old fucking ass and whatnot, but that's the first time I've actually seen that. And I thought, wow, Actually, I've seen that twice. I actually have one saved, yeah, the dude. And he actually, comes, but of course he's got to like stop and instead of just doing it like he should. But he does just use her ass cheeks. He doesn't jack it across the finish line, which is odd. Most faggot fucking humans. Like if you can get a titty fuck, it'll be all sloppy and shit. I didn't mean that. I mean you could take it that way, but that's not actually what I meant. Oh shit. It's just blah, 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 spit on his dick or whatever, and then the fucking faggot, jacks it across the line. I mean, I get it, you know what I mean, but Actually, I've seen that before. So that makes 3 on that. Actually, probably 4. There's another one somewhere, but they're just like a brief, stupid thing. But anyway, yeah, lubed up and everything. But I digress. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. And like I said, in the morning with the towel and whatnot, nice, easy, cheesy. Be it lubed, be it dry, be it panty smooth groove, be it tongue. But so I made a new folder. I stumbled across that. That looked to be like Atlanta, but I think the license plate said Florida, where the chick was pushing the boyfriend. You know, I mean, steering, I suppose, but anyway, the dude pulls up and she leaves with him to go get a gas can and probably just not come back. Real quickly, so I titled that, you know, that made me think of Mrs. Butthead because that's apparently where she's, um, you know, going with her body shape. Because it was this big old black bra, you know. Motherfucker, you crazy, that fucking bullshit, my fucking crazy, that bullshit, motherfucker, that be crazy, that be bullshit, motherfucker, that be crazy, that be bullshit, you know, and just dramatic. I could say something that my hate hordes would jump on, but and I could because it wouldn't go on my docket. It would go in theirs. Came from their fucking mouth, and it goes right in their docket. So now, if I say something about you, it's in your docket. I didn't put it there. This is just an observation that heart, deed, motive. You know, scales of justice will prevail. Eventually, the bell rings, and we all file in single file. And well, I'll just leave it at that. But for now, we got to click up and do what we do in our free time on the playground. So, but the dude recording, he's all, "Don't come over here near me. Don't come over here near me." And it's like the dude appeared to me to not be coming over towards you. He's just stating, you know, he's hyped up. He's got, as far as an adrenaline dump goes, he's probably on the low side, if at all. You know, because your body responds physiologically or whatever to, like, you know, threats, the whole fight or flight. So it's like in traffic, you know. I've said this before. People who drive aggressive, even though they don't like feel it, really, they don't feel like they've got adrenaline coursing through their veins. They do, just on a mild level, and that's actually hard on your body. It's hard on like your organs and stuff, you know, to have your blood, you know, spiked, you know, with adrenaline. And what happens? I don't know if it just burns off or whatever. I mean, blood flows through your body actually very quickly, but well, not very quick. You know, that's why if you take a hit or something or take a shot or something, you know, it hits you pretty quick, pretty quick. I hear the lungs, you know, because you know, I'm a drinker, but I don't use drugs. But the lungs affect you sooner than the stomach, I guess, because, you know, just, I don't know, proximity to the brain, maybe, how well they absorb or whatever. But anyway, but yeah, he's starting stuff kind of unnecessarily. You know what I mean? Because basically, it would appear to me that this player, Pollard Baller, is stealing him a ball with legs, basically. But you know, certain people are just dramatic, and it has nothing to do with race or anything like that. I mean, and that's what people do when they get hyped up. They repeat themselves. It's just something that I've noticed. And it's usually it's the like the fringe shit. If you're having an argument, the shit that they want to make damn sure that you understand um, is the unimportant shit, you know? Because the meat and potatoes of the argument you have to string too many words together and make too many sentences. So low caliber people, low horsepower people, when they argue, number one, they're more prone to argue because cooler heads prevail. You know, so the emptiest vessels are going to make the most noise. The most dramatic people are going to be, well, the most dramatic, and their arguments are going to be the most, you know, petty and, you know, leading nowhere. You know, you're not making your point. You're just, everybody's getting spooled up until eventually it's a fight, which could, you know, just escalate. You know, it doesn't matter what the fight was originally about. It could be over, you know, a packet of mayonnaise. It could be over the fact that, you know, your your girlfriend's or your sister's boyfriend who assaulted her or something, right? Then obviously that you have a legitimate reason to be hyped up over a person, but you still need to go about things intelligently in the right way so that it doesn't fuck you over. Because generally laws are good, you know, for civil order and whatnot. But sometimes, you know, it's like, you know, sometimes you just want to beat a motherfucker's ass. You know, some people need their ass beat. You know, like it's the only thing that'll like do anything. You know, I mean, it doesn't that it doesn't really. It's not gonna like change their mind, but it at least. Oh, it's hard for me to put into words. Like I said, I come from a different planet, so. But yeah, I truly I believe that. You know, sometimes you just need to. Anyway, but it's rare. Okay, it's not really. I'm not saying you should just go around starting that shit, but you know, oh shit. Because people will push it, you know, because people want to win, right? Just generally speaking, whatever it is. If it's a contest, you know, people want to emerge the victor. You know, they want to emerge the one who looks better, um, you know, smarter, stronger. You won the argument. Just whatever it is, you want to position yourself as the quote unquote winner. So, you know, if you're being a jerk, you know, and oh, it's hard for me to explain, but sometimes there's times out there, you know, where a quick little slap or something would do a person good. But then there's also that if you're losing the argument, the case, and it devolves into, well, okay, I've lost, therefore I'm just going to get physical, then that's like a 180, you know. As where sometimes, you know, there might be the antagonistic person, you know, who's giving you shit, you know, because, oh, who knows, your freedom of speech, or maybe you're wearing the wrong, oh, I don't know, hat, you know, or something, you know, maybe it's a red one instead of a, I don't know, blue one. Well, blue one might, you know, whatever, but, and, you know, you're like, hey, look, I'm just trying to, you know, I'm walking with my wife and, you know, kids or whoever, someone who just has no regard, you know, they're just dramatic and want to go start shit, you know, because there's a time and a place for things, right? Again, generally speaking, and you're like, look, you know, guy, just, you know, I understand you're upset, you know, and you know you don't like the what I'm wearing, you know, but you don't have to bother me. You know what I mean? I'm not bothering you. We live in a free country. You're expressing your freedom of speech. I'm expressing my freedom of speech. You know, you're not going to change my mind. All you're doing is making yourself look bad and like an asshole. You know, like a jerk. You can even keep it lower. You know, because asshole is a pretty low level swear word. So is shit, as opposed to fucker, motherfucker, bitch. You know, son of a bitch is pretty hostile. Well, anyway. Um, and the dude just won't. What are you gonna do? You gonna do anything? You gonna do anything? You gonna do anything? Some smug coward, who knows, he's expressing his, First Amendment right, and so are you. So you're in public, so you've got the right to film each other. You've got the right to say whatever you want. In that case, it's like, you know what? You know, on my planet, that's perfectly legal. Now you couldn't, go above and beyond. You couldn't, attack him and, you know, keep, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost said advancing your aggression. Okay, but well, it's beyond aggression at that point. It is violence. But anyway, so you know what I'm saying? There's a time. It just totally depends. Versus it, that would be you being like justified, to. So maybe some people need the ass beat. Maybe that would be the wrong word, but some people need smacked. Okay. versus if it's like you've lost and you just want to get physical because, like I said, everybody wants to emerge the quote unquote victor. But anyway, um, yeah. So that's all that guy's doing. Don't come over here near me. It's like he wasn't. If you want to, say that, kind of sooner rather than later. That way, it's a prevention instead of a, get back. Although when you're on that level, the emotions are you're both get going. It's really kind of the same. It doesn't matter if you do it as a preventive measure or a after measure. Like, and if it's so, then just, I need you to keep your distance from me, man. I just need my personal space. But you're hyped up, so you're not gonna say it that way. You're like, don't you step near me now, or whatever. But that was kind of unnecessary. I didn't think he was gonna come over. If he was reading him, just look at him, okay? What kind of life and what kind of person is he? He goes through life, how he's wearing his clothes, what car he's driving, the situation he's in, the fact that he's making his Big Bertha girlfriend, who just needs a man for money and the sex and whatnot. Like I said, she even kind of looks like Mrs. Butthead, but Mrs. Butthead is black. Um, but so she's dating a dude that she really doesn't give two shits and a fuck about. She just, logistically, and same thing with him. Humans need each other. Humans are social creatures, so if it's a casual thing, that's all fine and good, but they don't really care about each other. I doubt he's stressed, if she breaks up with him. He's just gonna be like, damn, or whatever. He'll have him another girl, within a week or, whatever. And of course, chicks generally have orbiters in the friend zone that they can just, hey, let's do this. So, but the dude, look at that dude. You really think that guy's gonna start something with you? Now, I don't know what he looks like. You know, um, you kind of tell a little bit by the voice, but um, I saw that as an unnecessary, not hostility. Man, I don't even know if aggression would be the right word, but that kind of hard line in the sand. Hey, look, like I said, it just depends on the situation, And that guy was basically his stance was, you ain't shit. Don't come over here. Know that now, dude. But you're just asking for trouble, because he internalizes that as, as him being the weaker one. You're telling him what to do, and he must obey. Right? Don't come over here near me. Don't come over here near me. Don't come over here near me. Like I said, that whole healing thing. It's like he's not acknowledging you. If I remember correctly, he was not coming over there near you. It's just you saw him come over. Okay, you're the big man in charge. I'm taking your chick to go get a gas can. Oh, by the way, I'm just taking your chick. We're not coming back with a gas can. She my princess now. all 350 pounds of her. But humans, man. Really, you can maintain an erection. That not only that does it for you. Probably actually not only will work for you, but does it for you. They're like, hey, go, all right. But anyway, so that's that. Man, 19 minutes. And then another one, I posted it in the Weak People Make Hard Times. I'm not sure where this person was at, but apparently there was two people. Him, a chick on the back of his bike, who it sounds like it was a chick he just met or whatever. Because motorcycles, ooh, sexy. Vroom, vroom. Take me for a spin, motor boy. And the one chick was in a car. So he's just some stud, rolling around with garros, And it looks like they are probably going to go, some shit's going to kick off. But maybe not. And he goes into a gas station. To buy some liquor. Appears to be white wine. and he buys two of them, and he sounds like a punk. You know, he's in his 20, you know, motorcycle guy, got his helmet on, you know, which is a bad idea when walking into, oh, I don't know, gas stations, banks, anywhere really. Take your fucking helmet off, put it on the fucking handlebar. Yes, there's a chance it could be stolen. You could walk around with it in your hand or under your arm or whatever, but then I can't carry shit. You're on a motorcycle anyway. So how much shit are you really gonna buy, right? You got your little a basket on the back of that crotch rocket of yours. He looks like a guy who would ride a crotch rocket. You can tell by his voice, you know, or whatever. Uh, Crotch rocket riders are different. They tend to be a little bit more on the punk side of things. These days, though, you know, everybody's kind of a punk, and like you know, I mean, whatever. But generally speaking, you know, you ever see? Well, there's sport bikes, right? But I don't like them. You know, I don't like motorcycle riders who blast past me, you know, at 100 miles an hour. I don't like motorcycle riders who, you know, crowd the line, which most riders don't, unless they're a club because they ride side by side. Um, but I could always see them kind of in my peripheral, and I would always get over just a little bit, not enough because you want to stay in the part of the lane where the tires are. So even though you're out in the main travel lane, I would still just get over just, you know, maybe like 6 inches, you know, on my tire. Just so they know that I see them or at least suspect, you know. But then again, if you're just sort of weaving, then you're going to come back probably. But um, just to give them just a little bit more room, but I don't want to get over too much because I don't want to kick up, you know, any debris or whatever, you know. Like I said, even though you're out in the lane, you know, still I'd rather keep my tires where the tires are at. It's just a thing. Um, but and I want motorcycle riders away from me, you know. Um, you know, if they were behind me, you know, I had a huge blind spot behind my trailer or whatever. But anyway, just and he said, I need the ID of the two people you're with. And he was like, well, the one chick left, and you know, the one girl, I don't know her. And they're all, it's law. And again, that might be the law, but that's why I put that in weak people make hard times. Because what the fuck is the logic behind that? So that means like, you know, if you're a mom um, driving home with your two kids that you picked up from school, you want to swing by the gas station to get you some high end, top shelf, you know, white wine for cooking. You walk in and, you know, they see, because it appeared, it didn't show the chicks. I guess maybe they were in there earlier. But anyway, they won't say you that, you know, because you've got two underage kids. It didn't say what the law was, and of course, this is another thing people do. They don't, if it's policy and it's kind of like somebody will bring it up, they won't explain why. And this is a phenomenon that I've noticed over the years. Like if it were me and it were some sort of stupid company policy, I would real quickly say, "Hey, look, you know, I know it's stupid, but it's my job. I don't know about you, but you know, I got bills to pay, so you know, I want to keep my job. So I can't do this unless you do that. I know it's stupid, but I'm just saying, you know. But people just sort of shut down, and I don't know if it's a power thing or if because it's a kickoff of kind of a confrontation, quote unquote, for lack of a better word. Maybe they're just if they're that type of person, I don't know because everybody's got different personality types. They just keep it to a minimum because they don't want to engage with this person on a somewhat where you have to be like stand your ground. You know, it's your job. You know, so maybe they're just like I don't know. I don't understand it because that's happened to me several times in the past. No, I can't think of a specific example, but I know it's happened where it's like, okay, that's silly. If I were in your position, I would be like defending myself, like, hey, this has nothing to do with me. This is policy, you know. And they'd say something, you know, like I shouldn't have to explain that, you know, blah blah. It's like, okay, fine, if that's how you want to think about things, you know. I mean, don't over explain yourself, obviously, but you know. I, I wish I could think of an example. I know there's been several because I've done audio presentations about this before. Like it's people are weird, and it depends on what mood they're in and what the situation is. Is it a hostile conversation? Is it like I hesitate. I keep wanting to say like assertive or dominance, but like if you're just doing your job, again, we can't say you. And they did say, it's law, So I guess they said enough, but it's kind of like the, again, if it were me, I'd be trying to like diffuse, hey, I know it's dumb, but it's the law. I don't want to get in trouble, with the law. But instead, they're just keeping it simple. It's the law, sir. It's like they're closing up. It's like they're depending. Well, that's all I gotta say. So, and the guy's like, so I can't come back in 4 hours. Can't come back tomorrow because they know. So the law must be written something like, if you suspect blah 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 under reasonable suspicion or whatever, which is really stupid. Because now you're putting interpretation and opinion into the mix. The law should be the law should be the law. You know, but I just thought it was again, weak. That's why I put it in weak people hard times because the law itself is fucking stupid. Because like I said, if the mom can't buy her wine there, whatever state that in, if she pulls up to the liquor store maybe or another gas station, and she pulls up, she's gonna have to like ninja style park around where the person can't look out and see, that she's got kids. I can't sell that to you because you could be, it's like what the fuck. Most people have kids. You know what I mean? I mean, you might while you're at it, you might as well, you need to bring in documentation to prove that you're not going to take this alcohol home to your kids at home. You we're underage. You know. So anyway, 27 and a half minutes. Just yeah. I didn't read the comments, but the top comment was, the one time they felt, powerful. Maybe, but I would disagree. I think they probably, I don't know. I don't know. You know, Again, what remember earlier during Online Family Friends when people said they want to emerge the victor? Well, I also, me personally, I mean, obviously want to emerge the victor just because generally everybody does. Um, but I don't want to, look like an asshole. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's like, if it were me having to do that, I would want to distance myself from that decision. Hey, this isn't my decision. I'd love to sell it to you. Money's money. I mean, I'm paid by the hour, but still, I mean, you're just trying to buy some alcohol. But the law is the law. So, unfortunately, I don't know. And maybe he's from out of town. Why wouldn't he? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, weak fucking people make stupid fucking times and hard times. So, yeah.